Do your clients need MSP 2.0? So we all agree that MSPs are facing challenging times. They have to change their business models to the MSP 2.0 in the near future. But what about the clients? Do they have a problem? We have to see what is happening on the client side. We are going to use a chart to make the explanation easier. We are going to see how things have changed in the last couple of years and where it could go in the future. In this chart, on the horizontal axis, there is the business impact of the IT. It shows how in time, the overall IT influence has changed on the client side, how the IT impacts their everyday product development, communication, service offering, manufacturing, and so on. On the vertical axis, you can see the overall complexity of the IT ecosystem. It shows how in time, the overall complexity has changed on the client side. How many different processes supported by some IT systems, how many software, hardware they use, how many connections, network-related things are on their ecosystem. In this chart, we're going to check the overall IT management challenges with the bubbles. The bigger the bubbles get, the bigger the management challenge on IT. So meet Carla again, who runs a travel agency with 75 people in growing mode. They have started the operation in the mid-80s. She is quite IT savvy, so they have several custom softwares they were using at that time, word processors, etc. It was not a big deal, it was not complex, and it had a very limited impact on her business. In the 90s, they all upgraded to PCs, fax modems, better software, Windows, the big boom of the PC era. At the beginning, only the IT-savvy colleagues were using the softwares. But as Carla upgraded to a more integrated ERP, the whole company started to use it. It was getting more and more complex, with more softwares and hardwares. By this time, even the smooth running of the system was a big issue. But because everything went on paper also, in case of an outage, they were able to work. The management issues came up. They got an internal guy who was familiar with the systems, and he did the techie work. After 2000, the internet became very mainstream, so they upgraded again to a better ERP with CRM and more communication to clients. They invested in infrastructure heavily with servers. The collaboration email was a daily use, so they got new tools as well as the products that had developed. Every 3 years, they had to change the whole infrastructure with PC servers, softwares. The local IT guy was not able to manage the things, so they switched to a managed service provider who was able to support all the systems in the technical way. They even helped figure out the upgrades, projects, and developments of the infrastructure. That was the BC era, before the cloud. In 2010, the cloud became available in a big way. So it is now the AC, after the cloud. Carla had several internet-based applications running. She can have nearly every IT function from the internet, which was not an option before. She does not want to put everything in the cloud, but the most basic things are more efficient and less expensive to get as a service. She is enjoying the continuous development of the services without big projects, upgrades, infrastructure investments. Small companies emerged next to the big ones, and they had very cheap products available immediately without any server or PC work. So they decreased the budget supporting the old-fashioned infrastructure in a big way. They switched to Office 365, using Google Apps heavily with the clients, using mobile devices with Dropboxes, etc. Hundreds of applications, devices without any coherent structure, boundary. So Carla missed the control of the infrastructure in a way, but she has to move on. Now, she badly needs someone who can give her the control back to her. The several vendors from ERP, CRM, B2B, B2C, cloud applications, integration software developers, web developers are overwhelming her. The MSP is doing his job. But a new role is missing, someone who puts all this together. The business impact is enormous now. If a system goes out, the company misses a part of the operation. The complexity of the ecosystem is very high, without any adequate control. It is a very high-level, non-technology-oriented technology management duty, which gives the structure of the IT at this time. Unfortunately, however, her MSP is focusing on several new things, but focusing too much on the technology side, which is not an issue now. She is missing the management part, the global IT budget, the management of the vendors, the direction of the projects, dealing with the security and global, real IT strategy, and so on. The MSP is focusing on their job at a high level, but they are not able to get the whole IT together. So as we see, the challenge of Carla is even bigger than the MSPs. Carla will solve the problem sooner or later. The best possible option is if the MSP can get the MSP 2.0 model, which is basically the management of the IT in a global way to give a competitive edge to Carla's company. Carla is willing to pay the additional fees to the MSP because she trusts them. They know each other, and so she will get the necessary functions she needs. Only she needs a new working model from the MSP.